Hello everyone, wherever you are watching this. This is an introduction to the second module. We are actually going to talk about the general expectation of the course and the details of the course outline. But before I mention that, I want to appreciate all of you, those of you who participated in the first module and you did very well, and also those of you who participated but you are not able to acquire the necessary skills that will help you to develop the basic communication skills in the second module. So from the final outcome of the first module, there are those of you whom I advised to retake the first module, not because you are so poor or you performed poorly, but because I feel that you still need a lot of time to develop the basic skills of the first module. And those of you who are proceeding with the second module, I also want to say this, that we take this module seriously because this one requires more of your time, because we are going to shift from the first level or the first module to the second module, which is of course more of sign language. Now, our expectation in this module, one of it is that at the end of this module, you should be able to have acquired the basic communication skills that will enable you to communicate with the deaf people or the deaf community in general, and also to link the deaf people and the hearing community. Meaning to say, at the end of this course, you should be able to both voice and also sign or engage yourselves in communication, of course, using the signs. Now, this course or this second module should never at any time taken lightly, because this is a module that is actually going to take you or shift you from the languages, the local languages, of course, including English, to sign language. So we are going to shift from our languages that we already know to sign language. So meaning to say that we are going to learn about the new structures, the new language pattern of sign language that will enable us to not only interpret, communicate, but also to be able to be to know more about what entails in sign language. Now, in our course outline, the first one, we are going to talk about introduction to a language, and generally we are going to talk about English as a language, because that's the language that correlates with sign language. So we are going to talk about the language pattern of English and what is necessary from English that will help us to build up our sign language. Then number two, we'll talk about introduction to sign language, and generally we'll talk about the general characteristics of sign language and how best can someone use sign language for communication and interpretation purposes. We also look about number three, the types of sentences used in sign language. Remember, for you to be able to communicate well in sign language, we use different types of sentences, as we'll talk about during the presentation. So it's very important that we cover this. Then number four, we'll talk about the parts of speech, the nouns, the pronouns, even though we talked about it in the first level, but remember those who are vocabularies. We talked about how can you sign this and how can you sign that. But this one, we are going to go deeper into knowing how nouns, verbs, proverbs, prepositions, and all those parts of speech are used in sign language. Then the next one, we'll talk about types of tenses, the past tense, the present tense. How do we use this one in sign language? Then the next unit, of course, number 6, we'll talk about introduction to receptive skills, and we'll talk more about how best can someone be able to listen or get information when someone is signing, so that you are able to voice the hearing community. Then of course, what is very important, the next topic is expressive skills. How best can you be able to use the sign language that you have learned for the general purposes of communication, interpretation, and of course those of you educators for teaching in schools. Then topic number 8, we'll talk about the sign language as a profession. So we'll talk about the general code of conduct and ethics for interpreters, so that in the future, when you engage yourself in interpretation, you don't mess up, or you don't appear as if you are not ethically professional in terms of translating into sign language. Then the next topic, which is of course number 9, we'll talk more about the basic introduction to sign language, the communication skills. We are going to do a lot of practice when it comes to this topic, so that we are able, when you go to the final module, that's module 3, we are able to interpret, to communicate, and feel comfortable when someone is expressing him or herself using the sign language. The next thing is about, remember, in the first level, we generally talked about the culture, and of course we talked about the hearing culture, the characteristics, the elements, and all that entails in culture. But in this second module, when it comes to culture, that's topic number 10, we'll talk about the deaf culture. And this is where I'll require that all of you gives your attention, so that you get exactly the feelings of the deaf people when it comes to their general behavior, among other things. So you miss to get the deaf culture, you'll never become a professional sign language interpreter. So during this topic, I want your full attention. Then lastly, of course, we'll talk about the deaf community, so that you are able to understand yourself, not only for the purposes of inclusion, but also for the general presentation of this community to the rest of the people here and beyond. Now, we'll talk about 11 topic in this module. So those are the 11 topics we'll talk about in details. And I want to encourage you that during the presentation of these lessons, of course, we'll get the video lessons, we'll get also the lesson notes, and we are going to engage ourselves more using other means of presentation, like using Zoom platform, more especially when we'll be talking about the basic communication skills for the deaf people, and of course expressive and receptive skills. Now, take your time, go through this, watch again and again, but remember one thing: first module lessons are equally important. Why? Because when it comes now to setting of examination, it will be across all the modules, from the first module where we started, from the first lesson of the first module to where we will have reached. And also for the general purposes of knowing or mastering these vocabularies we learned in the first module, we have to again watch over and over the first module lesson videos. Otherwise, I want to say that may God bless you, may God bless your hands, may God bless your families, and may God give you graces and wisdom as we struggle to know this language, to serve our brothers and sisters who appear to be among the minority. And I want us to express our love to this great nation of the deaf community, so that not only to show our concern about the less privileged, but also as a way of serving God. God bless you.